Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and I share deck flip throughs, pairings, spreads, and so much more. Today I wanted to bring you in on what I've been up to for the month of April. This was a very busy month for me in terms of decks and deck usage, so I thought we could start with this deck here, Quiet Rebel Oracle. So this is a Kickstarter deck, and put it out the box here. This deck was so much fun, and I've really enjoyed using this throughout the month. And I have zero intentions of putting this deck away next month. I plan to continue working with it and getting to know it because it's been awesome. So I'm very happy that I ended up backing this deck. It's the first deck that I back in quite some time. And I'm thrilled to have it, thrilled to use it and to explore it. I love its personality, how it shines. It speaks from a very empowered place, and I just love it. So that is my Quiet Rebel Oracle. This is a deck that I used in a deck study. So this is the Earth Woman Tarot. And this is not a new deck by any means, but it was used in a deck study and I just wrapped that up this month. It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. It's funny to me what you notice when you really start looking, because my first impression of this deck was, oh, this is fun, it's great, love the art, love the artist, and let's go. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to the guidebook because it's an RWS deck, and for you know, all intents and purposes, practically, a clone. So very easy to read with, but it was so interesting to take closer look at all of the cards and to share with other people what they had noticed, things that I hadn't seen, their interpretations. Gosh, it was so good. So this was something I had a lot of fun doing. Still a favorite in my collection, and none of my thoughts, feelings, or emotions have changed towards this deck. Very happy to have it. But yeah, I highly recommend deck studies if you haven't done it before. They're just awesome. Speaking of deck studies, I'm going to start here with the Gaian Tarot. Now, this is a deck that I unboxed and then I trimmed. So we went through that whole process, and what I ended up doing was uh, creating a deck study for it. And so initially I started this on my own, and the universe works in mysterious ways. So slowly it turned into a group study, small group, just a few of us that got together, went through the cards, jotted down our impressions and thoughts, studied the symbolism, talked about what we liked, what we didn't like. This is a very unique deck in that some of the cards are aligned with the Rider-Waite system, and other cards just go a completely different way. And so it's a balance of numerology and RWS. So it's been very, very interesting. Now, in this study, which is still going on, we still have a week or so before we wrap up. In this one, we decided to have a weekly call. So we take some time to go through the suit and then have a call and a discussion on the card. So that was, gosh, so powerful. I will always remember that anytime I pull this deck out and anytime I use it, because we have been able to share so many awesome stories, tidbits, insights, experiences. It's just been amazing. And of course, part of that work has been going through the guidebook, with a fine tooth comb, is what I would say. But there's a lot of information in the book. It's a great book overall. But yeah, there are parts of it that, kind of align, and then other parts that, maybe don't resonate as much. So it's important to be able to establish your own connection with the deck. So that was the Gaian Tarot Deck and Guidebook. While we're on books, I'll go ahead and pull out my Year of the Hermit journal. Of course, a book that I am still working through. I use this in tandem with my Tarot of Mystical Moments. And I can't say enough about this deck. I love it. It's a soul deck for me. And I don't know, there's just something about this art that lets me really open up and read in a completely different way, without caring about, the titles or the suits or just anything. Just it really allows me to open up and read intuitively, which has been very, very helpful doing the guided journal. So I'll set this aside for just a moment. We're up until April. And as per usual, I am still adding pages, my own pages, into the book whenever that comes up, and still making notes. Sometimes I, don't do all the days. Sometimes I skip days. And so in that case, like for example, here, instead of the journal, we went to see the Minecraft movie. So, there you have it. Still working on it though. It's been super, super fun. And I'm very happy that I'm still doing this on a day-to-day basis, and using my soul deck has been awesome as well, because it allows me to connect with a deck that is a favorite. But because it's a favorite, it's a deck that I only use for myself. It's not a deck that I share with others. I don't use it for any other readings except for my own. So I love having this, you know journal that I can use for these purposes. I'll share the last book that I have been working through, and this is just something that I have been reading, and it's called To Shape a Dragon's Breath. So this is here, I'll share here, Monocle Black Goose. This is such an awesome book. It is so good. And the reason that I haven't gotten through more is just for timing, because it is fascinating, this book. It's the story of a young indigenous woman that enters a colonizer run dragon academy, and then quickly finds herself at odds with the, quote unquote, approved way of doing things. So, this is the first book of a series. It's a fantasy series, and it has been so cool. I feel like it's kind of like a mix of the magical or mystical world of dragons, and kind of combined with like Harry Potter, because she does go away to an academy, and then at the same time, picking up on the background of the story, and what it was like for them trying to acclimate, to the European way of doing things. So I'm loving this book, and I see myself reading the entire series as it becomes available. I'm reading this as part of a book study, but I'm loving it. I may not finish the book before the first meeting, but I'm thrilled. April was birthday month, so I'm just gonna quickly share some of the decks that came into the collection. So this here is Tarot of the Guiding Muse. Oh my gosh, I have been enjoying this deck so much. It's the only deck that I have that follows a central figure throughout the entire deck of cards, and it's been so much fun reading with it. I very much enjoy the imagery, the art, the style, the stories that come out of this deck. It's just so, so cool. I'm thrilled to have this in the collection. And again, I don't know that I'm going to part with any of these decks for next month. I pretty much see myself using them all because there are quite a few, and I've been able to use them, but limited because there's so many, right? So I want to make sure to have the time, and I love it. So why not? There's nothing that says, there's no rule book that says, oh, once the month is over, you have to put the deck away. No, like if I'm loving it, I'm just going to continue using it until, I feel like it's time to move on to something else. So this was my tarot of the guiding muse. This is the distant past tarot. This is a collage style art deck. Again, a deck that is totally my aesthetic. I love the color palette. It has been a lot of fun. It pairs easily with many decks. It's an easy reader and it's just beautiful. I I love this deck, and to be honest, I don't remember where I saw this deck or how I became introduced to it, but I had it on my wish list and I ended up getting it for myself. So yeah, it's been a great experience. Again, a deck that is probably not going to go away. I'm just going to keep it out on my reading table and continue to get to know it because it's just been so beautiful to work with. So that is my distant past tarot. Okay, don't ask me because I just don't even know. This is what I'll call a love oracle deck that I received for my birthday from my son. And I'm telling you, this has been such a pleasant surprise. First of all, because my son, couldn't be more detached from tarot and oracle and all things mystical. But he decided to pick this deck up for me, and it has been so cool using it, getting to know it. I love the word on the top, I love the additional words on the bottom, and I find that it is not just a love deck. I feel like I have been able to use this in so many readings that have nothing to do with love, so to speak, and it still comes through. So this has been a joy. I love having this, and I can easily see that this will likely be a workhorse deck that stays out on the desk at all times because it's just so versatile and it's a chunker. I can't remember how many cards in here, but I want to say there's probably close to 80. I mean, it's just a nice size deck. It's so awesome. So thank you to my son for picking this up for me, and it has been great. Here I have the I Am Queen Oracle, a deck that I received as a gift for my birthday from the lovely Selena. And I'll set that down here. Essence of the Moon, by the way, in case if you're not following her already, it's a gorgeous deck. And I have to be honest, I saw this deck on a different channel. I saw this deck on a different channel. I thought it was stunning and I added it to my wish list. And I want to say less than 24 hours later, um, it ended up being picked up and sent to me. So I got it just in time for my birthday. It's a gorgeous deck. And I've had a lot of fun playing with this. We did a lot of readings during one of my live reading sessions, and I used it for a series of YouTube shorts, and it was awesome. It's just so bright and colorful. I really love it. This here is the Dream Ritual Oracle cards. Gosh, what a surprise this deck ended up being. I saw this deck being used in a reading on a really large channel. And all I saw was the card backs, which are amazing, and a couple of cards. And I had no idea what the deck was. So I took a screenshot, sent it over to Ange, Roots and Waves, and I said, "Hey, do you recognize this deck?" And she was like, "Yes, please. I want to send this to you for your birthday." And I was blown away. So that's what she did. She picked it up and she sent it to me for my birthday. And gosh, another one that has been so awesome. This deck is awesome for intuitive readings. I know it says dream ritual oracle, but I can use this for more than just dream readings. It reads really, really well, and it's been awesome to use it. Very awesome to pair with other decks. I'm happy that I have this. It's just such a good one. I've never seen it before, so I was very happy that she knew what I was talking about. So thank you so much, Ange. Thank you for illuminating my life. Last of the birthday decks, Tarot of Aphrodite. Now, gosh, I have been studying art decks for quite some time, going back and forth about what I should, get. And this ended up being the winner, and I added it to the collection. And it's just, first of all, it's stunning. It's wonderful to work with. I love to use it. And, the quality of this deck is outstanding. Everything about working with this creator, from shipping, ordering, packaging, was incredible. I received this deck so quickly, and this is like one of those decks that really, like, the camera just doesn't do it justice. When you get it into your hands, that's when you realize just how special the deck is. So I'm thrilled to have it. I've definitely been using it. And again, not leaving my table this month. I will continue to use the deck. It's been incredible. So, yeah, that is the Tarot of Aphrodite. This is a deck that is always out. It's the Shimmering Veil Tarot. I love this deck. I never put this deck away. It is a very deep reader. Okay. Uh, and I never put this deck away. It's always on my table. I don't use it very often, but periodically I will be asked to do a reading on a very deep spiritual topic, and that's where this deck, I feel, shines. I will pull this deck out and use it. It's stunning. It reads really, really well, and I feel like it is perfectly designed to answer these deep spiritual questions that we sometimes have. It's not that that's the only use for it, because I don't feel that it is. I feel like any deck of cards, you can use a deck for practically anything. But I don't know that I would go to this deck, for random day-to-day things. I love the idea of using this maybe for dream work, for spiritual questions, for growth and development. I feel like this is a deck that allows you to tap in with your intuition, and your mind can pretty much go be free. So it's a beautiful deck. I love having it, and that is my Shimmering Veil. This is another deck that I would consider an intuitive reader. I pulled this deck out for some pairings, and I actually used it with the I Am Queen deck that I received. So here are the gorgeous card backs. This is the Kai Tarot Love, and it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I do consider this an intuitive deck. The artwork is stunning. It is not, it sometimes goes its own way from the Rider Waite, but it's very easy for me to divine the messages. And I love having this deck. I love the artwork and the color palette. And it was really, really amazing with the I Am Queen Oracle. So I did pull this out and work with it in order to do a series of YouTube shorts. And I wanted to make sure to give it some time on the channel. And that is the Kai Tarot Love. Speaking of YouTube shorts, here's a deck that I recently featured, and this is my Soul Music Oracle deck. This little deck is so much fun. Each of the titles is a song, and it's just super cool and fun. I used it for shorts and people really enjoyed them. I feel like this particular series took off really, really well, and this particular card here came up in a reading, and gosh, this was one that I would say has gotten the most views of any short I have ever put out there. So I will always remember Band of Gold as being the short that brought in over 1,000 views. Another deck that I don't use very often, but I pull out for very specific reasons, is my Ember and Aura. Now, this is another deck that I would consider to be a deck that I use for spiritual readings. And I love this deck. I did pull it out recently for some very deep readings and reflections. When I pull out this deck, or maybe even the Shimmering Veil, when I do these kinds of readings, like these are the kind of readings where I pull the cards and that reading sits out sometimes for a week, while I digest it and pull in the meaning and have a chance to think on it, meditate, uh, journal, do what I need to do in order to receive the message and integrate the message. But this deck is amazing for this kind of work. Actually, this deck, the entire deck was channeled by the creator over the course of a weekend that she spent at a retreat while walking a labyrinth. So it's super, super special. I love it. It was out of print, and I was lucky enough to find someone that was willing to trade for it. So now I have it. It's part of my collection, and I will have this for a very long time to come because it's just such a great reader. Again, this is a deck that I only use for myself. I don't read, for others with this deck. I don't have very many like that, but this one is definitely one that I keep to myself. So that is my Ember and Aura, and this was actually the Awakening edition. I've spoken about this deck lots of times. This is my Sasarai Beetle. I always lovingly call it the sassy burrito. It's such a great deck. This deck is one that doesn't get put away. It lives on my reading table, and actually it's my work deck. So this is the deck that I use for work or career related readings. I absolutely love it, and I always keep it handy because it's just, I don't know, it's just such a great deck, and it's perfect for me to help me with managing my career and the changes. Every day at work there's always so much going on and things are always changing, and we have to be fluid and flexible, which is not always easy. And so I find that it's really helpful for me to keep a deck on hand always that can help me, kind of give me the guidance that I need in order to make better choices for myself at work. It really affects how I show up as an individual, and I love it very much. So, yeah, that is the Sasarai Beetle. This deck here is uh, what I like to call my nighttime deck, my hug deck. And I keep it on my bedside table. Those are the card backs. This is the Tarot of Light, and I just love this deck. It's so soft. It's perfect for pulling a card before bed. And this is not something that I do all the time, right? This is not a regular part of my practice, but sometimes I do feel like I need to pull a card. And when I do, this is the deck that I'm going to go to. I'm going to read the booklet. I'm going to meditate on the image, and I'm going to try to take that into my dream state or my liminal space before I drift off to bed. It's perfect for that. I love that it has little keywords on it. I don't have a lot of keyword decks, so I always find it interesting when a deck has a keyword. I try to like wonder, not, it's not so much that I agree or disagree with the keyword, but I love to explore like why did they choose that keyword? And maybe it's an aspect of that card or the card meaning that I don't bring into my readings very often. So I love to use this deck in that way. And I recently actually used this deck to do a crystal grid. So I worked on a grid, and of course, for crystal gridding, I always use my little mini RWS deck. So I have it here because this deck also went into that crystal grid. It's super teeny tiny, as you can see. But I used actually a combination of both of these decks, crystals, charms, and for this particular grid, I wanted to pull in all of the four elements. So I did that as well. And actually, I kept that grid active for about 3 weeks. And I recently, you know, took it down, which that is also a ritual that I tap on. I don't just, throw crystals together and then, and then take them apart, right? Like there's a whole process that I go through when I'm creating a grid and when I'm taking a grid apart. And I've actually have a video on one of my grids, so I'll link it in the cards for you. But yeah, this is my Tarot of Light, my hug deck, my nighttime deck, my feel good deck, as well as my mini RWS, the deck that you think you're never going to use and it's never going to be handy, but you use all the time in actuality. Last deck that I wanted to show was the Rosebud Tarot, and I recently went through this deck. I did a quick unboxing, not as deep as some of my other unboxings because I really just wanted to go through it and pair it. So these are the gorgeous card backs, and this deck, it's beautiful. It's another collage style deck that mixes a lot of different images, black and white, color. I feel like there's a lot of like space in the background, which I think is a lot of fun. There's lots of flowers in this deck, and it's just super interesting. And I got this deck actually a few months ago because I was thinking of combining this with the Quiet Rebel Oracle. And so I recently filmed a video of those two decks. I'll link that as well so that you can see how they play together. But definitely a deck that will likely remain out on my table as I continue to get to know it and explore it and, get into the guidebook. I haven't really even had a chance to do that. It's very beautiful. I think my most favorite thing of this deck is like the size. Like it just fits so perfectly in my hands. It shuffles really, really well. And I like that, I like that size. It's just really cool. So, anyways, yeah, that's the Rosebud. One of the ones that, again, this is a deck that I picked up actually last year, but I didn't open it until more towards the end of the month. So, definitely still need more time to get to know this one, but wanted to showcase it on the channel as well. So, yeah, Rosebud Tarot. It was like the universe knew that April would be a big month for me, and I had a beautiful interaction with a very loving soul who, in turn, ended up gifting me this copy of the Akamara Tarot, and it's just such a gorgeous deck. I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of share it with you all in case you have not seen the walkthrough for it. It's gorgeous, this deck. And actually, it's upside down. So let me turn. I may have just shuffled in reversals without even realizing. Yeah, that's what I did. So it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. Very simple, very elegant. I feel like a deck like this really allows you to open up your intuition and take a closer look. You know, it can be considered a bit pippish, but it's just such a great deck. I'll have to go through and remove the reversals. It's really hard because not all of the cards have a title. So it's possible that, you know, whether or not I want it to be in reversed, I may just end up with it that way. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful deck. And this is the Akamara Tarot. In April, I won the prize pack of all prize packs. I mean, this was such a cool experience. And, you know, I joined a giveaway on Instagram, and then imagine my surprise when the creator reached out and said, "You won." I received all of these beautiful decks, and I won't take them out because I do have a dedicated flip through for the decks. But I received a tarot disassembled, the first and the second edition. I also received the tarot assembled deck and the last copy of the Botanical Whispers deck. And then this one here. So this here is the Samdala Tarot. It's still in order because I am still kind of getting to know it and working with it. It has a guidebook. It's a round deck and it's so cute. And it has like all these little mandalas inside of the images. It uses all of the symbols for that particular card to create the mandala. And so this deck is fun because it has, you know, it gives you planetary, it gives you the element, it gives you, gosh, it gives you, of course, the title. It has the, you know, the ties to the Kabbalah, and it even gives you an activation for each of the cards. I'm very excited to play around with this deck and see what kind of cool readings I can come up with using this deck as an inspiration. And actually, the reason for the giveaway was because Jennifer she had her deck picked up mass market. The tarot disassembled the deck and then the guidebook, which is sold separately. And so, in honor of that, she had this giveaway to help promote it. But yeah, it was amazing. I'm really happy to have these. They've been a lot of fun. But yeah, in general, April was a huge month for decks. I got to work with so many. Definitely feeling very blessed. You know that feeling? Like, I feel full. I feel like I'm coming into alignment with who I am and, you know, starting to see the path forward. And it just feels amazing. So, you know, it's a very big month for me. Very, very big month. One last thing I wanted to show was a pendant that I picked up for myself for my birthday. And this I got from Anna Turian's shop. This is something I have been wanting for a really long time. This is a gorgeous piece of lab and, you know, this gorgeous uh, quartz healer. And yeah, she, you know, for those of you that don't know, she periodically works on jewelry pieces. I'd seen them in the past, and I didn't get a chance to grab a piece the last time, so I was really lucky. Look at the flash on that. It's so good. So beautiful. So yes, I was able to grab this from Anna. I'm really, really happy. It's beautiful. Friends, if you love tarot and oracle, please make sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon so that you never miss any of my videos. I encourage you all to comment, to share if you see something that you think a friend of yours would like, would love the engagement. Thank you so much for helping to support smaller channels on YouTube. Of course, in addition to all of the decks and the books and all of the happenings of the month, April was a big month. It was birthday month for myself, for my daughter, and it was also prom season. So I wanted to take a minute to share some of the pictures that I was able to take of my baby girl as she was out there preparing for her prom. I'm really excited for her as she prepares to embark on this next stage of her journey. And that, my friends, is a quick rundown of what I have been up to for the month of April. So I am looking forward to listening to all of your reflections as well and hearing about what decks you've been working with, anything new that you've brought into your collection, any practices that you have been exploring. I always love these reflections. I feel like we get to know each other on a deeper level, and I look forward to them. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.